Hello everyone, welcome back to Chinmoy's Biology channel. So today we are here with the second part of photosynthesis for ICSE 7 Biology. So the first part I have already posted, and if you have not yet gone through that, please do go through that part first because it will make your learning in today's episode much easier. So I am putting the link in the description box below. So without further delay, let's get started, and please don't skip the lesson in between because the lesson is having many important topics. So if you skip, you will be losing many important points. So stay tuned till the end. So let's get started. So what we are going to learn today? Today we are going to learn in details about the process of photosynthesis. We will learn the factors affecting photosynthesis. We will also learn about the test to prove the presence of starch in a leaf, test to show that light is very much necessary for photosynthesis, and we'll also see that how chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis, and at last we will see that what is the significance of photosynthesis. So these are the main things we are going to study today. So process, factors affecting photosynthesis, test to prove the presence of starch in a leaf, test to show that light is necessary for photosynthesis, show that chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis, and significance of photosynthesis. Is it clear? Now let's move on. So let us try to understand the process of photosynthesis with the help of this diagram. So what is happening? First of all, water is absorbed through the roots. It is taken up through the root system, and the carbon dioxide is taken up from the atmosphere. Okay, and they both are reaching the leaves. Okay, and light is absorbed. You can see the sunlight is absorbed by the leaves, and chlorophyll is present in the leaves, so which is helping the absorption of this light energy, and this reaction is dependent on the light and sunlight for the activation of energy. This take place in the thylakoids of the chloroplast. So these sac-like structures are the thylakoids of the chloroplast. So water absorption done, carbon dioxide absorption done from the atmosphere, sunlight is being absorbed by the thylakoids of the chloroplast. So then what is happening? In the next step, the carbon dioxide is splitting. The carbon is obtained to make sugars, and this reaction does not require light energy. It takes place in the stroma. Okay, so carbon dioxide is splitting up. It is forming the carbohydrates or the sugar part, but this is happening in the we can say in the stroma. This does not require the light energy. This is happens in the dark phase of the photosynthesis. Now sugars which are formed during photosynthesis, these are simple sugars, right? Sugars which are formed in photosynthesis, these are simple sugars, and what they are doing, they are combining to form complex sugars. They combine to form complex sugars, and glucose and fructose formed as a result of photosynthesis are they are sent to different parts of the plant for their nutrition. Okay, so glucose and fructose, what is formed, they are sent to different parts of the plant for their nutrition. Okay, so they are sent to other parts of the plant as well. Okay, is it clear to you all? So this diagrammatic representation will give you the full idea of the process of photosynthesis. So glucose and fructose, they are being sent to different parts of the plant for their proper nutrition and growth. Now this is how the process of photosynthesis is happening in this full diagram. So, and we can see that oxygen is released after the full process or formation of the sugars, complex sugars, glucose, fructose and all is formed. The oxygen is released in the atmosphere, which is very much important, very much necessary for all living beings. Okay, so we all know that we can't survive without oxygen. So oxygen is very important. So this is the main process of photosynthesis. If you are learning this with the help of this diagram, it will be very easy for you to understand the basic concept. So please understand with the help of this diagram only. So let us move on to next part. Now, here are the main factors which are affecting photosynthesis. Now, first we can see that this light, chlorophyll, temperature, carbon dioxide and availability of water, these are the main factors. What will happen if any one of the factors is not there? Photosynthesis process will be affected. Now, let us think that if there is absence of light, then no photosynthesis will happen. Absence of chlorophyll, no photosynthesis. If the temperature is also very low, there will be no photosynthesis, or it will affect the process of photosynthesis. Like that, if there is very less carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, photosynthesis process will be less. So how these factors are affecting photosynthesis, let us see that. So first comes the light energy. So light energy is trapped by the chlorophyll. You know, the thylakoids within the chloroplast, they are trapping the light energy in the leaves, and it is used to convert the raw materials into sugar in photosynthesis. So it is very important. Next comes the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is found in structures called chloroplasts in the leaves. It enables the plant to trap the solar energy. Now, how this temperature then it is affecting? So this series of chemical reactions which is occurring in the photosynthesis, it is taking place only at a certain suitable temperature, that is between 30 degrees centigrade to 40 degrees centigrade. So this is the optimum temperature. It can't be more, like if you are having a 50, 60 or 70 degree, like more temperature also, photosynthesis will not happen properly. It will obviously happen, and if the temperature is very low, there will be there will be less photosynthesis. So this is the optimum temperature. Now, carbon dioxide rate of photosynthesis increases with the increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide. Okay, is it clear? Now, the more we can say that the more the carbon dioxide is present in the atmosphere, the more will be the photosynthesis process, more photosynthesis process will be happening. And availability of water, what does it mean? So less than 1% of the water absorbed by the plants is utilized as a raw material. So it is less than 1%. It is utilized as a raw material for photosynthesis. So therefore, water hardly affects the rate of photosynthesis. So whatever water is present, it will photosynthesis will happen, but only availability of water is necessary. So it is less than 1%. Okay, so these are the main factors. So let us move on to the next part. Now, first, this is very important, testing of a leaf for starch. So what we are doing, we are first taking a leaf, plucking a leaf from a plant and which has been exposed to sunlight for few hours, and we are putting it in a test tube which is containing, first we are putting it in a test tube which is containing some boiling water. We are dipping it there for 1 minute, and then we are taking it out. No changes are seen here. Next, we are trying to boil this leaf in alcohol, ethanol, but we can't boil the alcohol directly. So what we are doing, we are keeping the water warm, boiling the water and keeping a test tube full of ethanol inside that. Inside that we are inserting the leaf, and we have switched off the Bunsen burner, because if we are boiling this ethanol will be the alcohol begins to boil, and it will cause accident if the Bunsen burner is on. But if it is boiling in water bath, it will boil normally. So the water is boiling, and inside that we have inserted a test tube of ethanol. Now what is happening? The chlorophyll is dissolving in it, and the leaf becomes very pale. You can see that. Now we are removing the leaf from that, and we are washing the leaf in a warm water so that the ethanol is washed away. Now, so we can say that ethanol is washed away, and we are laying the leaf in a dish, and we are putting a few drops of iodine on it, and the color of the leaf changes to blue black. So what makes the color of the leaf change to blue black? So the conclusion is that starch is present in the leaf, and glucose produced by the process of photosynthesis is stored in the form of starch in the leaf. So glucose was produced in the photosynthesis. It is stored in the form of starch in the leaf, which is showing the blue-black color in this leaf. So hence it is proof that testing a leaf for starch is proved. Okay. So this is the experiment where we will see that light is very much necessary for photosynthesis. So what we are doing, we are taking any potted plant with broad leaves and keeping them for 2 days in dark. So they are being kept 2 days in dark. So potted plant we are keeping them for 2 days in dark. Why? Because if we are keeping them in dark for 2 days, no photosynthesis will happen and the leaves will become starch free. Okay, so the leaves have become starch free now. Now as the leaves have become starch free, what we will do? Then we will cover a part of the leaf. We will cover a part of leaf on both sides with black paper. Then we will keep the plant in sunlight for 5 to 6 hours. So after that, what we are doing? We are plucking one leaf from that plant and we are testing for the presence of starch. Okay, so that is the uncovered portion of the leaf which turns blue-black, because this was the covered portion of the leaf with the black paper. So the covered portion of the leaf will stay white, but the uncovered portion is turning blue-black because in the uncovered portion photosynthesis has occurred because this has received light. So this portion has received light, whereas this portion has not received light. It was already starch free as it was kept in dark for 2 days. No photosynthesis has occurred then. Now when we have kept it with a part covered with black paper, only the uncovered part had received sunlight and it tests positive for the presence of starch. So starch is present in this uncovered region. So hence it is proof that light is very much necessary for photosynthesis. So let us move on to the next experiment now. So here comes another experiment to show that chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis. So what is happening here? Now we have selected a plant with variegated leaves, that is, it is partly green and partly non-green, right? It is a variegated leaf. Now chlorophyll is present in the green portion, whereas it is absent in the non-green part. Now put the plants in sunlight for few hours, pluck any one leaf and draw its rough outline indicating that the green and the non-green parts. You can draw an outline that somewhere green and somewhere non-green. Now what we can do, the outer portion of the leaf, we can keep it on a petri dish. We can test it for the starch and we will see that blue-black happens in those parts which are having chlorophyll. So the outer green portion has chlorophyll, due to which the photosynthesis has occurred in the plant. So this portion, the area is unaffected by starch, is colorless. This portion is colorless. It is unaffected by starch, whereas the area affected by the starch test has converted into blue-black. So that is proving that chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis and obviously for the production of starch in a leaf. So chlorophyll is very much necessary. So hence it is proved. So let us move on to the next part. Now here comes the significance of photosynthesis. So what is the significance of photosynthesis? We all living organisms on the earth, we require what? We require food and oxygen to survive. So we require food and oxygen to live. The process of photosynthesis gives us both food and oxygen. Food is produced by the process of photosynthesis. Now leaves are capturing the light energy from the sun, using it to make food. Animals, they are mainly feeding on green plants to get their energy, and that is further passed on when they are eaten by other animals. So this continuous process is going on and the energy is obtained from the food is used by all organisms for various metabolic activities. So we all are also dependent on the plants in some or the other way. We are also eating green leafy vegetables and all. So for that, the green leaves and not what we are eating, they are giving us energy which is passed on to our body to perform several metabolic activities. Okay, so all living organisms, we require oxygen also, and this oxygen is released by the plants during photosynthesis And in the absence of photosynthesis, the oxygen level in the atmosphere would decrease and life on earth will be impossible. So without these plants, without photosynthesis, the life on earth will be impossible because there will be no food and no oxygen. So without any food and oxygen, we the other living organisms, we can't survive. So that is very important for all of us. So there are certain facts you should know, that is photosynthesis occurs not only in green plants, it also happens in certain single cell bacteria and protists, right? These organisms also along with some bacteria are considered as primary producers, and they provide food directly or indirectly for all other living organisms. Is it clear? Now there are certain key points. Let us take a look at these key points. Photosynthesis takes place in green plants, which are primary producers in food chain, provides food for every living being on earth, and it is the ultimate source of energy for all living beings, including producers and consumers. Okay, so photosynthesis is very important. It is the ultimate source of energy for all living beings, including producers as well as us consumers. Okay, it converts the atmospheric carbon dioxide back to oxygen, and which is necessary for all the living organisms. Okay, now it is necessary for the synthesis of many organic compounds used by plants as well as animals. So this is in details your lesson of photosynthesis, which I have told and discussed in two different parts. Please do go through it full. If you are having any queries, any doubts, please do write in my comment box. Ask me questions so that I can get back to you in the next episode. So till then, stay tuned, stay updated, because many more important things are on the way to come. Thank you. Stay tuned, stay updated.